parasha and start a new one. I ended where we spoke about the obligation to have a fair trial, to have honest judges, not to choose between rich and poor, between white and black, between young and old, male and female, righteous or wicked. Every person has people he likes and people he does not like. Automatically as a judge, if you're not an objective person and you cannot put your personal opinions on the side, when people come into your courtroom, if you're a racist, automatically you will always convict Jews and blacks, right? If you don't like them, if you're Nazi, if you're KKK, every minority you don't like, automatically they lose by you. Even if you try to be honest, because you're afraid to get fired, right? After all, it took you many years to be a judge. Even if you try very hard to be objective, you can't, because on your subconscious you are already influenced. So as soon as you see someone that you heard on the news every day that these kind of people commit crimes in a city, or they make riots, and among them there's also a lot of nice people, positive, educated, friendly, decent. The decent ones is going to pay the price of the general rule, meaning what in your mind, what you already made up your mind. So again, even if you fight against your own racism, so racism is between me and my wife and my children when we talk in a house. But in a courtroom, I'm very objective. You don't believe me? Connect me to a lie detector. He will pass the test. He may pass the lie detector. But it doesn't mean he did not rule not objectively. Why? Because in his subconscious he's allergic to specific kind of people. He's allergic. And as soon as he see the way they dress, or their accent, or the color of their skin, or their religion, immediately he cannot see fairly the claims and the defense claims. He cannot see it objectively. And he's 1,000,000% convinced that he actually made a fair trial. I will never dare to send an innocent person to jail. I will never dare to release a real murderer back to the street just because he's one of my own people or anything like that. Connect me to a lie detector, and the lie detector will show that he had no intention to actually be not honest, but he was not honest, and that's called subconscious. That's why the Torah saying, when they come to trial, let them get dressed the same. And if you know them, you cannot judge the case. You can't judge. You have to give it to a different judge. What do you mean? So what if I know him? Just because he lives in my neighborhood and once in a while he say hi to me, that means I'm not going to be a fair judge? Absolutely. I once told a story about myself. When I was 17 years old, I had an accident. I was a new driver, and I drove in at night. I made a left turn, and somebody came with a bike. There was no light in Israel. There was a lot of trees over there. Someone came from behind, trying to make it before I finished the turn, trying to go like, it's crazy what he did. But it was too late, because as soon as I pressed the gas, boom, his bike hit my car and he flew to the other side. So right away police come, you're a new driver, immediately they take away your license until you have to go to court in Tel Aviv for people that are younger than 18. It's teenagers. It's not a regular court, juvenile court. So now I went to visit that guy in a hospital. I even remember bringing him a cake. We actually became friendly for a while. I told him, I have no way to see you. You came from the side, it was dark. It wasn't really the kind to blame. But now I have to go to the court. And a young guy that his father got for him a car, and he only drove 2 weeks. In Israel it's called chole ege. Wheel addict, steering wheel addict. That's a disaster. You can't sleep at night from pain. dying to get the car and go meet your friends, and you have to sit home because they took away your license for 60 days. So what do? You go to court. I'm going into the elevator. I see a person there with a James Bond bag, those old James Bond bags. Baruch Hashem, I was a nice person. So I say to him, hi, shalom. Not knowing who this person is. No idea. In the elevator, me and him. I say to him, friendly hello. Shalom. 10, 15 minutes later, I found out he's my judge with the black things, sitting. So wow, that's the one that was with me in the elevator. From the minute he saw I'm the one that the police trying to revoke my license for a year, I saw that he became my attorney. He actually put words in my mouth, hinting to me what to say. Baruch Hashem was clever enough to understand what's going on here. And I knew he likes me because I was nice to him in the elevator, not knowing who he is. So he gave me an idea. What's the idea was? He said, I see that you wrote here in your report that you're driving your mother to physiotherapy, what do you call it? Physical therapy on her knees. She had knee replacement since then, but back then she had problems with her knees. Twice a week I had to drive her to the place. And that's something that we have to, he said to the prosecutor, it's not only him we're punishing here. Right away I got the hint. And I say, yeah, wow, it's going to be a disaster. I'm going to take it. Bottom line, he gave me back the license with some warning, condition, let me go. This was a perfect example of what the Torah warned from. According to the Torah, when I walked into the courtroom and he saw me, I was the one who said hello to him in the elevator, he should have disqualified himself from the trial. So I'm sorry, I like this boy. We had a little talk in the elevator. I'm transferring you to a different judge. You may think, come on, don't be such an extremist. What's the big deal? You say hello to him. But the other one didn't. He already in his subconscious likes you. He doesn't see your guilt. It will be much harder for him to see your guilt. You understand what happened? And that's what it is. That's 100% what it is. I'm not talking about, besides that people like their own kind. They like their own kind. So if you sit in a jury and you're black and the defendant is black, automatically you have sympathy to him. Came up from the same neighborhood you came, same background, went to the same struggle. You made it and he didn't. You feel bad for him. Automatically you're looking at him with eyes that are very merciful. It will be a Hasidic Jew, and the defendant will be Hasid from Borough Park. They're both from Borough Park. He's a Bobover and he's a Vishnitzer. They both speak Yiddish, both dress the same, both eat the same kugel on Thursday night here in Borough Park. Maybe they even met a few times in a takeout. It's very difficult for him to help to convict him. He will do everything he can to let him go, even though he agreed that he's guilty. That's the nature of mankind. Excuse me, you're not allowed to say mankind anymore. You have to say people's kind. Yeah, So, Baruch Hashem.